Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. This season, Christmas is the last thing on the minds of millions of homeowners thanks to record inflation and skyrocketing interest rates. Joining us with some advice on how to keep your financial house in order is Greymont from the Funding Face-Off. Lori, welcome to Daily Flash. Good to see you.
Thank you.
How
Thank you.
big is the foreclosure problem right now?
Well, it's actually starting to grow. So the low point was 2021, shortly after COVID, and it's been growing steadily since COVID. We're at about 185,000 filings, but that doesn't compare to anything like everyone's kind of remembering. 2010, there were 1.7 million filings. So that's quite a bit difference, but we're up from 65,000 in 2021.
Walk us through the process. How does the foreclosure process work from a homeowner's perspective?
Sure. So typically what happens is they miss a few payments, maybe up to three payments, and then the lender starts sending notices. And when you start to get those notices, it's so important to reach out to the lender and see what opportunities they have to help you. Eventually, the lender is going to file a notice of default, and every state's a little different. You might get 30 days, maybe 90 days, depending on your state. And then it goes to a sale. It's called a trustee sale, or it may be a court date that is required. And so at that point, if it gets sold, it's sold. And so you need to kind of work within those dates and work with the lender to try and get it modified or something of that sort.
There's so much emphasis on everything these days when it comes to communication. What should someone do if they find themselves in a
Yeah.
place where they can't afford to pay their mortgage?
Yeah. The first thing is breathe. It's a hard situation, but the reality is the lenders have so many programs that the government supports. So typically on the bank statement that you're getting from your mortgage lender, there's information there of who to call. If you don't have that information, you can search on the internet. There's a Hope mortgage line that you can call. They can set you up. If you're a vet, you can reach out to the VA home loans or go to your JAG office if you're in the military. So there is help out there to try and get your loan modified, try and get forbearance, or a way that will allow you to catch up if you want to stay in the home. But if you don't want to stay in the home, then it's time to start talking to a real estate agent or even a real estate investor.
How effective is communicating with the mortgage lender when it comes to saving your house? I mean, would you say 80% of the time, if you're upfront with your lender, they'll work with you, or is it less than that?
So the unfortunate truth is that the lenders have a lot of systems and processes. And so it's not necessarily like you're just going to talk to a person and they're going to understand the situation and work with you. You have to be persistent. And as you're being persistent with them and you're providing the information, they will process it through and most likely you will get help. It's just that you can't, it's not a one and done. It's not like you're going to call them up and say, "Hey, I need help," and they're going to help you immediately. You might have to call two, three, four times, talk to three or four different people, say the same thing three or four times. But eventually, if you're persistent, you will get the help.
That's a great reminder. What would you say is the point of no return?
Um, the day of sale, typically what happens is it goes to sale. There is an evasive move that you could make. You could file a bankruptcy at that point, which would give you a few more months maybe to figure out the situation. But once the sale is complete, you're done. That's it.
Breathe, know your limits, and communicate. Some great advice.
Correct.
Lori, thank you so much for joining us. For more information on Lori, you can head to fundingfaceoff.com. Mitch?